Alrighty, I guess it's time to bring on our special guest today. This is the first time we've had more than one guest on at a time, I believe. And today we have the Watson brothers from Saskatchewan. Brandon and Carter, how are you doing today?
Oh, not too bad. How about yourselves?
Pretty good.
Good. Glad to have you guys.
Good to see you too. Thanks for having us on.
Absolutely. So I guess I'll start off with my regular opening question, guys. And who are you guys today? Let everyone know a little bit about you guys.
Oh, geez. So I'm Brad. It's my brother Carter, and we've been bowlers since about 2008 in Regina, Saskatchewan.
We do this and that on the side. We're both university students, and we work a lot on different boards in regards to lawn bowls, so we have a little bit of influence in our own club, and nice. We like to promote the sport and bring as well as we can to help.
That's great, guys.
Create a good space, yeah.
Absolutely. And I know it's a little bit unfortunate that we're not on the greens, but I did know that you guys had a pretty decent program going from last year, and that's the BCubed, if I'm not mistaken on the name. Do you guys want to let everybody know what that's all about for people who might not know?
Sure, yeah. So BCubed is a rec league that it was made to introduce new people, a younger demographic to the sport, and get them out in kind of a fun and interactive and kind of social environment and introduction to the sport. And the idea started in 2018. Kind of did planning, launched it in 2019, and thanks to Fran Scott and the Nutana Club, we got a lot of good information from them on how they run their very successful rec league, and we were able to put BCubed together. And I think on our first year in 2019, we got 70 people out.
Awesome.
And so, yeah, it's a weekly league that runs on Thursday evenings, and we come out and barbecue going with some good food and some beverages and get some bowls going and a little bit of friendly competition.
So I guess speaking on that, did you guys end up having to postpone or cancel this upcoming season for the BCubed events, or what do you have going forward for that this year?
Yeah, so that was the really stuff going on. Right now, BCubed is kind of in a state of being postponed, so we didn't really want to cancel it straight off, and we're just leaving it open so that if anything changes down the line and we could squeeze in maybe 2 or 3 weeks at the end of the summer, something like that, we have a little bit of room to work.
Yeah, it's because there's really not a whole lot to do this summer, so we want to try to keep at least something for people to possibly have it, and that may have an opportunity in bringing a few more people than we normally would be able to the sport. So we want to keep it open if possible, but of course safety is a high priority, and we're not going to jeopardize any of that in regards to.
Yeah,
right on.
Yeah, it was unfortunate too. I mean, we were very lucky in that we had a really successful first year and to grow it for 2020, and then this kind of hit, and it's just okay. Well, guess we're gonna have to start from scratch again, but oh well.
Daryl, just so you know, I am still here. I'm just trying to reset my camera because it didn't look like it was working very well there. So you're muted, I think, Daryl, by the way.
I am. So for both of you, I know the BCubed has been a big initiative for both of you. I guess moving out of this, where some places are starting to loosen restrictions and people are getting back out on the greens, what do you guys either most looking forward to, or what do you guys expect bowls to do to try and bounce back from being off?
Oh, that's a good question. Are you talking more kind of like what safety protocols we're thinking about, or just kind of how do we kind of build back the sport to where it was and improve?
I think it's a little bit of both, because I know things aren't necessarily going to be the same going back. Everybody's going to be a little bit worried about what's going on, but
Yeah.
yeah, how do we get back to a, I guess, quote unquote new normal?
Yeah. Well, I think once you kind of get those safety protocols in place, maybe you're going to be seeing some changes to the way that games are played, and maybe jacks, for example, for the first little bit will just be kind of that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's kind of tough to see where that's all going to go.
I'd say probably this summer, even into fall, is not likely going to be anywhere near as close to it used to be in the past. But I think in the coming, maybe next year, I will be probably. It shouldn't be all that different, in my opinion. We might have a few less members, but I think that things are coming along quite well, at least of what I've heard in the news. So hopefully that means that things can progress towards
Keep working on
a positive outcome and allow everything to go back to at least somewhat similar to what it used to be.
I know it's a pretty small part of the game, but what do you guys think whenever we get back out there on the green, before and after the game?
Yeah, that's a good one. I can see that kind of going by the wayside, at least for the next little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, kind of everything that we can do to keep that stuff to a minimum, I think, will be helpful. But it's kind of unfortunate because a lot of the nice stuff about lawn bowling is the camaraderie and getting to the sportsmanship about it. So a lot of that stuff kind of has to change quite a bit.
Yeah, I would say
sure.
I would say that that's probably pretty true, because just the issues right now are not lending themselves nicely to that sort of contact. But I'd say in the future, I think we're going to probably get back to that sort of camaraderie, because, knock on wood, I wouldn't expect us to have a pandemic every day. So hopefully we can get over this part and continue on with regular goings.
Yeah, sure. I know here in Ontario we have started to loosen up some of the boundaries. I'm not completely sure how it works. I know some of the stores that weren't open before are open now with people in the store and some precautions, obviously. What's it like out there in Saskatchewan?
Yeah, I think our provincial government has this 3 or 4 phase
maybe
plan.
5 phase. I think it's
5 phase, and I think we're just lining up for phase 3 in the middle of. So yeah, it's just kind of, we're opening kind of gradually. Right now, you can go to some stores, like you said, in limited capacities, and I think just recently we opened up some of the clothing stores and stuff like that again in limited capacities. So things are kind of working their way back, but it's slow.
Still lots of lineups, that's for sure.
Have you guys maybe seen any companies or any businesses maybe doing things the wrong way? Like, I know, for example, I don't know if it's just here in town, but I know at stores there's no lines and there's hundreds of people in the store because everyone just wants to go out and get lawn care stuff and fishing stuff and outdoor stuff. And I thought it was outrageous how many people were inside the store and how long the lines were inside the store. Is there anything like that around you guys?
Well, I haven't noticed a lot of that. A lot of our Canadian Tires in our stores, they have kind of that one-way traffic, so you can go down certain off, but certain aisles are only one way. So that kind of situation.
I haven't necessarily seen that, but Brandon and I have seen some stores that sort of are taking advantage of the situation in some ways. For example, charging obscene amounts for masks to go into their store, for example, is one of the things that has been going on, which is not necessarily what I think is a great idea, but you never know.
Um, I wanted to ask you guys about your involvement in bowls. As far as the family goes, now there's the two of you. Obviously, you're brothers, and you play with and against each other.
Yeah.
But you've got, I'll say, a much larger family group that plays. Not only your immediate family, but extended. Who is part of that group, and what does it mean for you guys to have such a large family unit playing the game?
Okay. Yeah. So immediate family, we've got obviously myself and Carter here, but we Bulls, Janet, and then my mom's sister Lois is Jordan Koss's mom, and then Bo Koss is Jordan's father. So the six of us bowl, and it's really great having such a big kind of family to because you can go and practice together. You can set different things up. I mean, you always know there's going to be someone around to have a game with.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I guess I'll ask another bowling related question here, and I guess I'll start with you, Brandon. What's your favorite bowling memories that you have?
Least and most favorite. Oh, that's a difficult one. Whenever I think of bowling memories, one that always comes to mind was the mixed pairs I played with Lois, my aunt, and it was just everything that was going on during that tournament. It was a really fun experience. It was one of those things where you look back and kind of laugh about it. I mean, I ended up having to exit the bronze medal game because of a leg injury, and it was just getting wacky towards the end of the tournament. But yeah, the people were great, and the situation was made the best out of, and it was just it's one of those things you never forget.
Absolutely.
As far as worst, I don't know if I have a worst memory. I mean, I guess you could kind of say that this whole delay and cancelization of the season and stuff could be up there.
And what about
There
for
you
you,
go.
Carter? I'll ask you the same question.
With worst, because I had coming from a Kelowna tournament in which I was pretty happy with my results. I was able to beat Connor McGowan. That was my first national juniors, and that was when I was really, really young. I think 12, maybe even 10 at that time. And then I came back and competed in Fredericton, expecting to do hopefully do as good as I could, but I just kept on struggling in the tournament, and it couldn't seem to get any sort of rhythm. But in the end, it ended up helping me figure out that mental game and get past the issues that are coming up, and just take it one game at a time and not a tournament at a time. In the end, it helped me, but it was definitely not one of my fondest memories of lawn bowling. But in regards to best moments, I think one of the best moments was actually my first regular nationals tournament with Keith Roney, where we ended up at the start, but we started getting our group together and we started bowling well. And in the triples, I think Daryl was at that tournament as well, and we ended up coming back up and got to our the bronze medal game, which I'm very proud of, because that was the first national tournament that we were able to get to, and we ended up at podium's like potential spot. So we were happy to get there, and that was a very good experience, and I'm very happy that we were able to compete there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've actually been at a few of the things that you guys were mentioning. I know I was at the mixed pairs that Brandon had to pull out of, so I got that whole experience from a third person view. And seeing you guys at Willowdale for the nationals and the trips was really awesome as well. So growing up in bowls, and achieving stuff that you have in under 18s, under 25s. I know Brandon is, I guess, the current reigning under 25 champ. What are your goals down the road? Are you looking to just promote the sport and build on that, or are you looking further for yourselves and then looking at higher and higher stakes?
For me, I think it's a bit of both. Like the major BCubed was kind of Carter's and my major push to help promote the sport, and that kind of came up due to this city closure. I don't know how many people kind of remember that from a couple of years ago, but the Regina Club was in a bit of sure if we were going to have a future.
Right.
And when we started really figuring out that we have to work to promote the sport so that these kinds of things don't continue to happen. And so I really enjoy working on that side of the sport and developing my skills and bettering myself.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's definitely a combination of both. I really want to make sure that the sport can come up, but that's almost sort of a selfish reason, because I want to be able to have people to compete with and to people to be able to with and help me to become a better bowler in order to be able to go to these tournaments that are around the or like nationwide and international tournaments that are possible, like possibly something that I want to go to. So having more people around is better for me, because although it is more competition for me, it is also more competition for me. So I can help myself to get better and do what I want to in order to excel in the.
Speaking of having people around to get better playing against, question from the chat here from Mr. John Siteman. What has been the best lesson you've learned from bowling with the Patchouli Brothers? I'm actually going to add on to that and say, what about the whole Patchouli clan?
Oh boy. Well, there's been a lot of lessons learned. Like when Carter and I first joined back in 2008, Michael, Harriet, and Murray were kind of the main people working with the junior program. So right away we got to learn a lot from them. And oh geez, I don't know what would be the most important lesson you think?
Well, for sure, I know one of the rite of passage was when Michael was able to teach us about how to properly throw a drive and make sure that we're not flubbing it up the entire time. So that was a big thing, because normally you have to, it takes a while to learn that sort of skills, but if you can learn from people who already have that skill pretty honed down, then it's a lot easier to pick it up and add it to the arsenal.
Nice.
I know, I think as well, and this was kind of a funny thing that happened. Carter and I bowled with Michael and John in the U.S. Open last fall. And
right.
One of the things that kind of came out of that was this whole mentality of keeping the team energy. Carter and I were we always, a little bit more subdued and, kind of congratulate good shots and stuff with our team a little bit more quietly. And Michael and John were like, let's keep the energy high, keep the energy going so that the team can feel that. John is the skip, he's on the other end of the green, and should be able to kind of pick up on the energy that the three of us are having at the other end. So that was another big one too.
I think that's definitely a good one, Brandon. Like, I've definitely played on teams with people, I'm not going to name drop anybody, but like where the energy gets really low and the morale's really low, and then it just kind of like drains everybody down, brings everybody down. So if you can stay high, hopefully it'll help everybody stay up instead of going in the wrong direction, especially when a game's not going your way, because unfortunately, like we'd all like them to, they're not always going to go the right way. So
yeah,
that's a good point.
Unfortunately.
I agree with that 100%. I'm a very introverted person by nature, and learning those skills meant a lot on the green, just to not only portray how I'm feeling and let them know that yeah, I'm in the game, but to bring them up as well. You know, if you're always quiet, it can be tough.
Well, it's like
Yeah.
going back to our forest team that we played with last year. Daryl and I was playing with three guys who maybe aren't the loudest guys out there on the green. With that being
Yeah.
Daryl, Owen Kirby, and Jack Fowler. And between Jack and Owen, if I hadn't have spoke to them, I don't think they would have said a word to each other behind the mat. So it was kind of a little fun role I had to play by just getting the guys talking and getting everybody excited, especially when we were doing well, right?
It's true.
It definitely showed with how it worked out. So,
All right, I want to move over to a little bit of this, which is photo time.
Oh, lovely.
So, I guess I'll start this one for Brandon, since that's him in the picture. Brandon, what is this photo, and what does it mean to you?
Yeah, that was last year in Juan de Fuca, and that was the U25s. So I had just won the U25s nationally, and yeah, that was a pretty unbelievable experience. Kind of one of those things that was a long time. Luke and I had some pretty amazing games in the U25s leading up to that point, and it was nice with the last couple years coming up. It was definitely nice to be able to finally get that.
It's awesome. It is definitely an incredible moment for sure. What about this?
Yeah, it's. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna ask. I just moved to another picture, and I just wanted to know. This is something that you actually did talk about a little earlier.
Yeah. So that was the mixed pairs in Point Claire with myself and my Aunt Lois, and boy, that was that. Yeah, like I said earlier, that was one heck of an experience. I mean, Lois and I, we started absolutely on the bottom with just the or for a first game of a tournament. I think it was something like 34-5 or something like that. Just unbelievable. And we kind of find our groove and working our way up the ladder. But then I started to develop a leg injury, and we were able to get to the bronze. Halfway through the game, I had to leave the green, and I think David James Smith, he subbed in for myself to off, and it was everybody that was around, the people at Point Claire, the club, the competition. It was awesome, and it was one of my favorite memories.
All right, I'll throw this out to, I guess, both of you. Where is this? What is this? And what does it mean to you guys?
This is all the way in lovely California, where we were able to compete in the NAC together with all these lovely people in the picture as well. Plus some picture, of course, but it was great to be able to go and play in the NAC with them all. My team started off with David James and Eric Gallipo, and then we ended up joining forces with Cameron LaFrenz as well.
That was a big step forward for both Carter and I, because that was our first international, and especially an international tournament representing Canada. So that was a really awesome experience.
I also had a question. So was this photo supposed to be a photo of you guys, or is it a photo of all the boulder tans on your feet?
I think it's
Bowler
likely
tans.
Supposed to be about the bowler tans.
Yeah,
so let's
definitely
be real
bowler
here.
tans.
Yeah, you have a bowler when you have white feet, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
and that's all that people are looking at. Let's be real.
White feet and the burnt V on the chest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Carter, explain this
Oh
photo.
my.
A man of many hats.
That was also at Juan de Fuca. That was around the mid part of the tournament when I was just sitting around and people just started putting some hats on my head. It was just the people that were around me, and then people noticed that I had 4 or 5 hats and started just going around and grabbing everyone's hat that they could find. Sarah decided she didn't want to join in because she has a hat back there that definitely could have been
That's right.
added, but yeah, grabbed all the hats that they could find and decided to make as tall of a tower as possible with I think that's Trevor's hat at the top.
That looks familiar for sure. Brandon, what's going on here?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I think that was taken in Winnipeg at the U18s and U25s, and if I recall correctly, it was Anne-Marie Seitman took that picture, and we were maybe 2 greens away from each other, and I was looking over and I saw a camera pointing in my general direction, so I posed and made that face like it had to have been only like 3 seconds, and I kind of walked off, and then shortly after, Anne-Marie Seitman found me and said that and I couldn't believe it. Like, it was just a fluke accident kind of that it happened.
Perfect.
Yeah. And I believe that's still my Facebook profile, like,
I think
glorious
so.
picture.
Yeah. And finally, we'll end off on this picture. What did it feel like throwing on that Bulls Canada jersey and playing?
Oh, it was an unbelievable feeling. Something that I've wanted to do for a long, long time. It was great to represent Canada in a international event, and it was great to be chosen to go to said international event. I enjoyed doing my best for for Canada and for myself in that tournament, and I was hoping that we could maybe bring back something home with in regards to trophies, but unfortunately didn't go that way. But it was just a great event, and so awesome to be able to compete there.
Well, yeah, and I think too, starting out, being coached and the junior program in Saskatchewan or in Regina being run by the Patchoulis, there was a lot of success kind of around us all the time, and while you're really young and you don't really know what's happening nationally, but it was you hear all these stories about the players in your province and your city having the successes nationally and internationally that they did. So you kind of hope that one day you can make it to that level. So it was nice. It was really amazing to finally see that was starting to happen.
Alrighty, guys. I guess we'll move on to our final segment with our guests today. This is a segment that I started a couple weeks back. It's our supporter showcase. But Daryl, I believe it was Daryl's sister, actually had a good idea. We can't have a video of our supporter. We're going to wait until we can do in-person interviews for this part. So we're going to do it with our guests for the time being. So you guys get to be our lucky first time goers here. So these questions are for both of you. And so the first one is, I guess we kind of already went over this, so we can reach outside of the sport of bowls. What is your favorite sports memory? You can use bowls if you'd like, but I know we kind of already touched.
Favorite sports memory.
Oh gosh. I'm just going to separate it side of bowls because I've already answered the bowls question there, or at least what I can recall. There's probably something else that I could have mentioned, but I just probably actually one of my favorites. The first time the Riders won the Grey Cup while I was alive. That was I'm a really big Riders fan, so it was awesome to go and see that they were able to pick up the win in the great, like, to have them win the Grey Cup when I've been watching them for years and they hadn't done anything. So it was awesome to go and see that and see the the advancement in the team and see able to improve and grab up that the win.
Nice. What about you?
Yeah, I think for me, I've always been a really big baseball fan, loved to play it, and being able to go to my first Jays game was really big because we don't have anywhere around here that you can go to a ball game. Awesome to actually go and experience what it's like on, in the stadium, see the energy. Yeah.
Rogers Center's a cool place, man, and it's definitely an experience, especially when it's a busy spot.
Yeah.
Anyways, our next question: what's your favorite place you guys have ever traveled to?
Question. Well, we haven't gone anywhere like super crazy, but I have really enjoyed. We've been down to the Bahamas a few times, and I have enjoyed that. Yeah.
One of my we visited is actually Kelowna. It's a beautiful spot down there. It was my first junior national event. There was a great pizza joint. Loved it. It's a beautiful place. There's lots of fresh fruit. The lake is there. I had so many great memories there. It was a fantastic event, and I really enjoyed going there. It was a great time, and I hope we get to go again at some point.
That was called the Town Pizza or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. It was great pizza.
Our next question here, guys. What's your favorite thing to do in your spare time?
Oh, geez. Well, basically, any time I have is filled by doing old man activities, like such as woodworking and I guess leatherworking now. So that would be how I fill my spare time.
Nice.
I like to spend my time doing things with friends, so that could be like hanging out or playing video games or as long as I'm doing it with friends, I'm having a fun time.
Do you guys have any superstitions?
I'm a big believer in karma, so I try to be as regular as possible. Just try not to be as in order, because I feel like if come back on me, so I don't want that to come back on me. So I'm not going to do anything bad. I'm just going to do everything I can that can possibly make things better. So that's the way I like to see things. So I just go into everything hopefully as humble as possible and make sure that it doesn't come back and bite me in the butt.
For me, I agree. Kind of the same thing with the. Additionally, I don't know if you call it a superstition, but it's I can't not do when I'm playing bowls, and I'm sure anybody who's watched me play will have seen that kind of chicken head where I have to like check my bias, and I can't control how many times it happens. It's just sometimes it's once, sometimes it's 13. It just has to feel right, and then I can finally throw it. I'm sure it looks hysterical.
I feel like but coffee or tea, guys?
Oh, definitely coffee.
100% coffee. Can't go wrong with a McDonald's double-double.
Fair enough. Would you rather watch TV shows or movies?
Oh, probably a movie for me.
That's really that's debatable, because like some TV shows are movie level quality, so you get more content that's the same. But then also some TV shows are just not that same. So generally, I'd probably say I like to have I'd probably watch a movie, but I do watch my fair share of series, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Next one. Who is your celebrity crush? You can do male, female, both, whatever you feel comfortable with.
Celebrity crush. Honestly, if we're just going on crushes, I gotta go with one of the Hemsworth brothers, because I can't remember what his name is. Thor. Thor is like so freaking badass.
I believe that's Chris.
Yeah, I thought so. Chris. Chris Hemsworth, like Thor is so badass. I wish I was him, but
There you go.
Yeah. Definitely Tom Cruise. Yeah. I mean, couch jumping, everything else. Definitely.
Coker.
Oh boy, I'm gonna get blasted for this one. I'm sure Pepsi for me.
iced tea.
There you go.
I think I probably prefer Pepsi. But...
Alrighty, and last but certainly not least, what would be your dream job?
Well, I've been really interested in kind of taking classes in university for graphic design. So if I could end up working somewhere in graphic design, that would kind of be a dream job. Really anywhere in there. So
if we're going unrealistic dream jobs, then clearly I want to be a rock star, movie star, actress. No, actor, not actress. Please. Oh God. And then what else can I be that's super famous? But realistically, I'm going through for actuarial science at the University of Regina. So ideally, being an actuary or some sort of actuarial manager, that'd be like the job that I'm going. That's a possibility in the future.
I could work on my dream jobs.
Just a quick one before I let you guys go here. John Siteman says, Brandon, you did a really good job on the Long Bowls Nova Scotia logo, and he would recommend you to anybody for anything.
Oh, thanks, John. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate the opportunity that yourself and kind of gave me to work on that. It was awesome.
Well, guys, we really do appreciate you coming on the show today. It was awesome to talk to you guys. I know it's been a little while since we've got to link up, so it was nice to have you on. And thanks for talking to us a little bit about your BCubed event and some of your Bowls memories. It was awesome.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us.
I
really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, all right, guys. We'll talk to you later, okay?
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
See you guys.
Bye.